Welcome to Super Science Bhagavad-Gita, the highest, most prime, and the only complete knowledge which is the source of everything and it answers every possible question. So let's continue. The subtlest thing which has pervaded in this entire universe is indestructible. No one can destroy that indestructible. The one who has pervaded this entire world is the most subtle and indestructible. But the thing through which this entire world is pervaded is gross and perishable. Think of it like this: there is a room, it is empty, there is no stuff in it. The emptiness of the room has completely filled the room. It would be appropriate that even when there was no room, there was still emptiness. We have closed that void from all sides by raising the walls. There was no room, yet there was emptiness. Even if there is no room, there will still be emptiness. Even if there is a room, there is still emptiness. A room is made, it will be destroyed. It was never before. It will be someday like it never existed. But that emptiness, that space, that sky, it was, is, will always be there. For him, such words as was, is, are inappropriate for the room, because it is not right to say that something has never happened. It is okay to say is only for that thing which is not there and may also be there. It is right to say that it is a tree. It is okay to say that he is a man. It is not right to say that God exists. To say God exists is a repetition. The meaning of God is that which is. There is no need to repeat that God and then say exists. This means that whatever it is, it is. There is no other meaning to that which exists. It is completely meaningless to say is for something that cannot happen. That is why a great believer like Buddha never used the word God is. The foolishness would think that this man is an atheist. But Buddha felt that it was a big mistake to say that God exists, because is should be said only about that which will become non existent in the near future. If it's a man, so it's okay, we can put is on that. Is an incident that has come upon man. It will be lost tomorrow. But it is not right to say that God exists. It is not right to say God is, because God itself means existence, that which is. So saying is for God is a very weak word to use. Is the wrong word to use with God. It is a repetition. So foolish would think that Buddha was an atheist. There is an empty space. There was no room even then. Then we brought furniture into the room. Then we placed pictures into the room. Then we came and sat in the room. The room was completely decorated and filled. Now there are two things in this room. One is emptiness that was always there, and this fullness which was not always there. But the interesting thing is that we never see the emptiness of the room. The room appears full. Only that which is filled is visible in the room. That which is empty is not visible. If you enter any room, only what is there is visible. That which was always there is not visible. It is not felt. It is also invisible. Even if emptiness is known, it should be said that it is known in the next context of fullness. When the chair is placed, there appears to be empty space around it. This chair is not visible in the middle of the empty space. The reality is that this chair is placed in the middle of emptiness. The chair can be removed. The void cannot be removed. Void can be filled, but it cannot be removed. You can take a chair out of a room because the chair is not part of the existence of the room, but cannot remove the emptiness from the room. You cannot suppress the void by filling the room with as much stuff as possible. If everything is taken out of the room, you will say there is nothing here. And if everything is removed from the room, you will only see the walls of the room. If the walls are also taken out, you will say there is no room here. So the emptiness from the room cannot be removed. But the walls are not rooms. The empty space between the walls is the room. The English word room is very good. Room means empty space. Room simply means empty space. But that empty space is not visible or even thought of because we do not even remember this empty space. In fact, the empty space has been there forever that we have never needed to see it. Just like this vast sky, this space is infinite. This empty space, this emptiness extends till infinity, which has no start or end, which does not start anywhere and does not end anywhere. Keep this in mind. An empty thing can never begin and end. Only a filled thing can begin and end. Emptiness can have no beginning and no end. Which is the beginning and which is the end of the emptiness of the room? Yes, it is for the wall. It is for the stuff. It is not for the room. Space has no boundaries. Sky itself means that which has no limits. This which is infinitely spread is the truth. And in the midst of this infinite, many things arise, are created, are developed. But the one that disintegrates, that is unreal. Trees formed, the void became green for a while, flowers bloomed, filling the void with fragrance for a while. Then the flowers fell, then the tree fell. Emptiness is back in its place. And even when the tree was up and the flowers were blooming, there was no difference in the emptiness. Void was like that. Things are created and destroyed. Whatever is created and destroyed is physical. It is visible. That which is not created or destroyed is subtle and invisible. It is not right to say subtle things either. But out of compulsion, Krishna has used subtle. It is not appropriate, but it is a necessity. There is no other solution. Actually, when we say micro, we mean any part of the macro. When we say small, it means that it is a part of the big one. When we say very subtle, we mean much less gross. In human language, even the subtle is connected to the gross. No matter how much we say micro and micro, it is still connected to the gross. Man's language is made of conflict. There are pairs in it. There are pairs of two things in it. But what Krishna is calling subtle is no part of the gross. Krishna is calling that which is not gross as subtle. It is a compulsion. But we have no words for that. So the closest wrong word that can be is subtle. That is the least wrong word that could be is subtle. There is no word for that. Whatever we say, so we say gross as a subtle. All the words we have created are very interesting. Even if we use the opposite words, it doesn't make any difference. It is also related to our old word in reverse. So it's a reverse of the word. Even if we say that it is limitless, we have to create that word from limits. Now it is a very interesting thing that there is no sense of the infinite in case of the limits, but there is a sense of the limits in the infinite. No matter how much we imagine the infinite, at the most we imagine is a very large limit. No matter how much we think, what we mean is to remove the limit further, remove it further and remove it further. But our thoughts cannot think that there will be no limit. It is inconceivable. It cannot have any concern about infinity. So it is unconceivable. Unconceivable. So I don't know how to say it. So it is a very interesting thing. But there is a sense of the limits in the infinite. And the interesting thing is there is no sense of the infinite in case of the limits. Also, there is a story of these two demons, Madhu and Ketab. which I will discuss, and it's a very interesting. So the God itself created them.